Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it is Wednesday, October 28th right now, and I hadn't necessarily planned on doing a video today. I had planned on just continuing to vlog through the week, and then maybe at the end of the month, upload this to tell you about the books that I have been listening to on Audible Escape for the Audible Escape to the End readathon, because as we all know, Audible Escape is ending November 1st. However, I have been listening to some pretty good books, and I thought, some of you out there may be watching this before November 1st, or might be able to watch this before November 1st, and you might want to try to squeeze in a couple of these books. So I thought, why not just go ahead and tell you about what I've read so far and see if you perhaps want to try to squeeze them in as well. So anyway, I did have to wrap up the vlog that I did for Dewey's with pretty much just telling you about what I listened to throughout Dewey's, and I might have mentioned one or two others that I listened to like in the hour or so after Dewey's was over. But I know I didn't get much past that, because when I went back on Monday and filmed about, it was like 17 minutes of footage with everything I had listened to up through Monday, or at least to that point on Monday, when I tried to edit that all in with my other sections of the vlog, it said that it was too long. So I couldn't include that, and so I just came back and filmed a different wrap up of that video, and I've still got this segment of footage where I was telling you about the stuff that I listened to all day Sunday and part of the day Monday. And since then, it's now Wednesday, and I have been listening to several more books. So I think what I'm going to do here is go now to that footage that I filmed. Now you're going to hear me say it's Monday and this is going to be the end of this vlog. Well, it's not the end of this vlog. It's what I thought was going to be the end of that vlog. But anyway, it's going to be I'm going to have to include it here. And then I will come back here and tell you about a couple of the other books that I have just listened to. Well, one that I just finished a few minutes ago, and then one I read in print. And also probably go back to the computer and talk about all of the other Audible Escape books that I had not included in that Monday video, like the stuff that I've listened to between Monday and now. It's all so confusing. When you try to squeeze in 30 or some odd books into a short, 5-day period or whatever, it can be crazy. But anyway, such as it is, I'm going to tell you about as much of it as I can remember, and keep on keeping on until I can get through as many of these as I can. And the other reason I wanted to go ahead and just stop now and tell you about what I've listened to so far is because I, after I did that segment on Monday, I took everything off of my Audible library, all the 10 Audible Escape books that I was done with, and I put 10 more on, and I have listened to now 6 of those. And now I am done with this book that I was reading in print, which is by Lori Copeland and Virginia Smith. It's called The Heart's Frontier. So now that I'm done with this, I want to go ahead and take off the 6 that I'm done with on Audible Escape, so I can put the Lori Copeland, Virginia Smith books on there and possibly listen to those before I finish up the ones that I have currently checked out, because these are definitely a higher priority. I don't know, they're kind of equal but kind of higher. So anyway, I want to go ahead and shuffle things around a little bit, so it's just easier to tell you about the books that I have already finished, so I can go ahead and move those out. Anyway, I will mention this to you. This was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is a good mashup of Amish life versus cowboy frontier cattle drive life, because the two worlds collide in this story. It's set in the 1800s, and there's actually some discussion questions at the end, and I was just reading through those, and it was talking about how in contemporary Amish life we look at how they live differently because they don't use technology. Well, in the 1800s they didn't have technology either, so how was Amish life different then as opposed to how it's different now? And I guess it's because Well, there's several things. The Amish in this book, how they set themselves apart was they, and still do today, they turn the other cheek. They don't resort to violence of any kind, even if someone is doing, violence to them. They don't fight back, and they don't, they don't believe in any kind of weapons or anything like that. So that is one way that they're different back then and now. And also in their dress, because they have a different style of dress. And even though it's not as dissimilar back then as it is now, it's still, I think back in the 1800s, you could still see the difference between the plain dress and the, Englisher dress. So those are just two things that I thought of. There may be others, and maybe you can tell me some that you think of in the description or in the comments below. But anyway, I really, really enjoyed this. At the very end, when it was all kind of wrapping up, I was like, wait a second, I don't know that would happen just that way. But then it all, like, seconds later, I realized what was happening. So it was fine. And then I listened to this on Audible Escape. It's called Courting Kate by Leslie Gould. And this was a 10-hour audiobook, and I listened to it on like 2.25 speed because I wanted to listen to this on Audible Escape because the rest of the series is on Hoopla on audio. This is on ebook on Hoopla, but it's not on audio. So I was determined to go ahead and get through this because I wanted to read what Leslie Gould, I wanted to read her, what am I trying to say? I wanted to read an Amish book by her because I've read some of her contemporary works, but not an Amish book. And so she approached things a little differently. There was, I would say she took some risks. There were a couple of times when one character assumed or suspected a teenage or a pregnancy out of wedlock with another Amish. And I thought that seemed a little out of character. Not that it doesn't happen, it might. But I was just kind of surprised that the character jumped to that conclusion as quickly. And I'm not going to tell you the outcome of that, but one of the cases was what I suspected, and it that worked itself out exactly how I thought it would. And the other one was kind of a surprise, but still made complete sense. And then there was, it kind of took a bizarre twist that I'm still not sure. It was just different. So that was interesting. I mean, this is definitely not a Beverly Lewis book, and but I liked it. I don't think I rated it 5 stars. I think I rated it 4 stars, and I would recommend it. I'd be curious if you've read a lot of Amish fiction, but you've never read anything by Leslie Gould. I'd be curious for you to pick this up and see what you think about it. So anyway, if you do want to listen to it on Audible Escape, you'll have to hurry because, like I said, it's a 10-hour audiobook. And if you don't like to speed things up, then, it's going to take some time. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It was kind of bizarre in places. But anyway, so let me go now and, first I'm going to go back and show you the footage I filmed on Monday. And then I will show you, I'll probably stay at the computer and show you the other stuff that I have listened to in the meantime. And then I might not upload this till tomorrow, or I might come back on after that and wrap this up and go ahead and get this uploaded right now. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, you'll know whenever you click on this to watch it. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, I'm back, and it is Monday afternoon, and I have been listening to more audiobooks on and off today. I've also been catching up a little bit in one of my print books, and I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this vlog up here because I did get through my whole list of Christmas books that are on my Audible Escape wish list. So now I have, I think, 10 other books left, and of the short books that I had hoped to get to in my original Dewey's TBR. And I'm going to really seriously look at some of those and decide, kind of prioritize, because some of those are not super high priority, and I have several others on my Audible wish list that are a higher priority and We have the rest of today and 5 more days in the month before Audible Escape is gone. So, anyway, what you're looking at here, I have pulled up my Audible wish list, and I have 10 books right now on my Audible Escape books in my library. I know for sure I've told you about 2 of them, and one of them is a duplicate of another book, so I don't have to tell you about it. And then I think I've told you about 2 of the other 7, but I don't remember which 2. So as I come to them here on my wish list, I'm going to tell you about the ones that I finished yesterday and today. And if I duplicate 2 of them, I apologize. This one I may have told you about. Love Found in a Christmas Village by Stephanie Guerrero. The premise of this one, as I recall, was a man. He had kind of lost his first love. They'd gone their separate ways, and he was wishing for her back, and he was looking at this Christmas village, which I guess was maybe something in his mother's house, maybe. And he touched the steeple of the church while he was wishing that he could be reunited with his lost love, and somehow he ends up in the Christmas village. And she's kind of the same way. She had gotten into modeling and had sort of kind of gotten off track and had eating disorder and all of that, and was kind of wishing to kind of find herself again. And somehow she finds herself also in this village, and they reconnect and all of that. So it's a little bit magical, and I didn't love it, but it was cute. So I will take that one out of my library and off of my wish list. And let me go to the next page. I'm going backwards. See that these are some of the oldest things on my Audible wish list. I'm going to leave the things that are not Audible Escape. I'm going to leave them on my wish list just to remind me that I still want to read those books. And this is just taking a long time. Why is it so slow? All right, so on the next page, these are some of the ones that these first 2 I have not listened to yet, but they're not high priority. This one is really cute. Cocoa Courtship. It's from the Cocoa collection, but the other books in the collection are not on Audible Escape. This was really cute. This was very old-fashioned, and I loved this one. It was contemporary, but basically the premise of the theme of the story is the difference between dating and courting. And I thought it was delightful. I really enjoyed it. And it was framed around this group of people who, I guess during the Christmas season, they have these different courting events, and they're all centered around hot cocoa, and each night is a different thing, and it's just really cute, really sweet. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's by Teresa Ives Lilly. It's by Jennifer Groberg. It is 2 hours and 14 minutes, and I really liked it. Then Christmas Wish. This one was a little bit confusing. I kind of had to go back and listen to most of it again, but as best I could figure, it's a little bit disjointed, but this young woman is working in an orphanage. She grew up in the orphanage and continues to live there and work. And she wishes that she can live in a snow globe. And then somehow ends up there. They don't really tell us how she gets there. But she falls in love while she's there. And then it goes from there. So so it was okay. It didn't blow me away. And it says it's by Pauline Anique. And it was narrated by Vanessa Padla, but yet the copyright is Teresa Ives Lilly. So I don't know if this is a pen name for Teresa Ives Lilly or what, but it kind of had a similar feel to some of her books. The next one, Enchanted Encounters, Get Your Kiss on Route 66. I have not listened to. Love Found at Harbor Inn, Maine, A Christmas Romance by Teresa Lilly. I have told you about that one already. Texas Christmas Romance is the same as it's just a different title, but it's the same book as another one that I listened to called Love Found in Bernie, Texas. So I'll be able to remove that one from my list, and I barely started it and realized it was in fact identical. It's not quite as long, so it might be the edited version. I don't know. Cup and Cake, Harbor in Maine. That also, I believe, is identical to Love Found in Harbor in Maine. So I have not started this one yet, but based on the description, I believe it's the same book, just a different edition, different title. So I'll be able to eliminate that one off my list. I have not listened to You Can't Help Falling in Love, Love Me Tender, or Beauty and the Beast, Love Everlasting, Book 1. Those are all both by Teresa Ives Lilly. Also, Harvey House Bride. I have not listened to that. That's not Audible Escape. I hope to listen to Courting Kate by Leslie Gould. I've checked out the physical copy of that from my library. The rest of this series is on Hoopla, but this first one is not. So I am going to try to make that a priority. I think I have read a couple of Leslie Gould books that are not Amish fiction, and I have not read any of her Amish books. All right, Miss Kane's Christmas was adorable. It is by Caroline Mickelson. Her books are all a little bit magical, and she's got this whole Christmas series based on Santa and his children and the different assignments that he gives them. I listened to one of these maybe last Christmas, or I don't even know when, but I didn't care for. It was Christmas Makeover, I think was the name of it. It was a little, I don't know. You just have to read my review on that one. But this one was completely clean, super adorable, and one of Santa's daughters has been assigned to go and be a nanny for this man with 2 kids, and he is just kind of a Scrooge, and it's not a retelling of Christmas Carol, though. He is in the process of writing a book about how parents shouldn't teach their kids the myth of Santa because they're lying to their children and all that. And so she's been assigned to go and try to correct, kind of stop him from making this book and sort of change his attitude towards Christmas. And it was super cute. I really, really liked it. And then the next one that is Audible Escape. I'm going to be able to remove this one, Canary Island Song by Robin Jones Gunn, because it's now on Hoopla. I'm listening to the first book in that series right now in my car. They're both on Hoopla, but I'm just going to go ahead and listen to... I'm almost done with the one in my car. That way it saves me that borrow on Hoopla since I'm limited to $15 a month. But I'm not going to have to listen to that one, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that from my wish list. And let's see if another one pops up. Yeah, so that bumped the next one up. So, all right, let's go back to page 2 and see. There's a Debbie Makeover book I'm going to be able to remove. This is one of those, if I can get to it. It's made up of several short stories. It's 12 hours. It's a box set of Christian Western romances and mail-order brides by Vanessa Carvo and Helen Keating, narrated by Mary Conway. And that looks like something I would really enjoy. So if I can get to those, I will, but not a super high priority. I have the rest of the Rayanne Thane Hope's Crossing series on here. I do want to get to those. I have read or listened to the first 3 books, so here is 4, 5, and 6. I think I did go ahead and take book 7 off my wish list because for some reason books 1 and 7 are on Hoopla, but all the ones in the middle are not. So I went ahead and listened to book 1 on Audible Escape, and I'm trying to go ahead and get through book 6 so that I can get through most of that series because the rest of these are not on there. Orchard Valley Weddings by Debbie Macomber. I do want to listen to that. This has the first 3 Orchard Valley books, and those are not on audio anywhere else that I can find without having to pay for them. There's some Laurie Copeland, Virginia Smith books on here. I'm currently reading in print The Heart's Frontier, which is the first book in the Amish of Apple Grove, which I'm loving. The first book's not here on Audible or on audio anywhere that I can find for free. So I'm reading it in print. I'm a little over half done. I've been reading some of it today, actually. And then I definitely want to get to book 2 and book 3. Book 3 is here somewhere, A Cowboy Heart. There's also a 2-book series on here that I can't find anywhere else as of yet. It's the Seattle Brides duology. So if I can get to those, I will. Uncharted Hope is the last book in the Uncharted series by Keely Burke Keith. I've listened to the first 4 books here on Audible Escape, and this one is not on Audible Escape. I don't want to buy the 5th book in the series if I don't own the rest of them, so it's frustrating. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on my wish list. Maybe it'll turn up in Audible Plus. We shall see. Here's that one, Love Found in Bernie, Texas. I don't think I've told you about it yet. It was cute. It took place in a small Texas town, and they were having a Dickens festival. And this, the male lead has been sent there to write a story, and his name is Charlie Dickens. He's been sent there to write a story. He doesn't really want anything to do with it. He thinks it's kind of dumb. And the lead female has been saving like her whole life to come to this event and is so excited. And they meet up, and he decides that if he's going to write a good story, he's going to have to feed off of her enthusiasm, even though he doesn't really get it. And it's really sweet. I liked it a lot as well. So then the next one, I've already told you about Love Found in Bandera, Texas. I have not listened to Unchained Love. I have listened to A Christmas Masquerade. It was okay. It didn't blow me away. The author, Teresa Ives Lilly, said in the intro that she was kind of inspired. This one was inspired by the writings of Grace Livingston Hill, who is one of my all-time favorite Christian authors. This one didn't quite measure up to that, but it was nice, and it was an old-fashioned story, probably set in the early 1900s, and it was, set where there's a definite class system, and working people versus the rich people, and there's a little orphan in need of help, and there's just some discrepancies about who's going to help them and who's willing to help them, whether they have money or not, and that kind of thing. So it was okay. It didn't blow me away, but it was enjoyable. It was narrated by Donna G. Soto. And Love Found in the Snow, I might have already told you about, and I hope I did because I don't remember anything about this one. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, this was actually very cute. It was about this girl who's riding a train to get to her sister, and it stops for refueling out in the country somewhere, and she just has to stretch her legs, and she gets off the train, and then it starts off without her. So she's stuck walking along the train track, twists her ankle, and then she's basically going to die there in the snow. And a young man who lives not far from there is riding his horse, and his horse kind of steers him in that direction, and he finds her in the snow, brings her home, and they fall in love and all of that. So that was really sweet. I enjoyed that one as well. Then Gold Dust Tea I have not listened to, so I think most of the ones on page 1 are Debbie Maycomer books that I'm going to be able to remove because they're on Scribd. These are 2 I've just added recently. Diary and Death is book 3 in the Cup and Cake series, and it's not on Audible Escape, but I went ahead and put it on my wish list in case, like I said earlier, in case it shows up on Audible Plus, then I'll have it there. And I read or listened to another short book by Deidre Scott, and then I did a search to see if there were any others by her on Audible Escape, and I found this little 39-minute book called Amish Hape. I have not listened to it yet, but I'm sure I can squeeze that one in. And then I have a series here by Brooke St. James, who wrote the Hunt Family series that I have listened to in its entirety here on Audible Escape. Really, really loved it. And she has 2 other series on here. There's a 3-book series that's the Miami series, and those 3 books are on Hoopla. So I've already taken those off the list, but there is it's like a 6-book series called Shower and Shelter. And if I can get to these, I would love to, because I really loved the Hunt Family series. So then I've got some Debbie Maycomber on here. I am just leaving these on here just to see if I get through everything else that's high priority. I will, maybe go ahead and pick one of these to listen to, but they are all on Scribd. Probably the one I would listen to first if I do end up getting to one of these is Friends and Then Some, because it is in a bind up of one of the library books I have checked out right now. And I listened to the other one that was in that bind up earlier. So if I listen to this one, then I will have completed that set. And that is it. So I'm going to go back through here and remove some of these that I'm definitely done with. I've got my old phone here, which has my Audible account pulled up, so you can see the 10 books that are here that I'm done with now. And I'm going to go ahead and remove those out of my library and then put another 10 on here. And then I'm going to go out and clean my car. My husband's been washing the outside of it, and he's done with that now. So I'm going to go clean out the inside. Because tomorrow, my mother-in-law is taking me and both girls out to lunch for my birthday. And I just need to clean my car before I go anywhere else in it. Okay, so now I'm back to Wednesday, and I had to rewatch what I had filmed on Monday because I couldn't remember what all I had included in that video and what I didn't. So hopefully I won't duplicate information. But here's one I added after the fact, and it's only 39 minutes. So I thought, I can squeeze this one in. There was another book that I listened to earlier, like in my last vlog by Deidre Scott, and I thought, I'm just going to look and see if she's got anything else on Audible Escape, and I found this other really short one called Amish Hape, and this one didn't really ring true. It kind of did, but it was kind of, I don't know, it was different. It was about a young Amish woman who was interested, kind of trying to catch the eye of the son of the man who owned the general store. And then all of a sudden, she kind of thinks things are going well. And all of a sudden she goes to church the next week and the bishop is announcing his engagement to another girl. And then to add insult to injury, the bishop asks her to help plan the wedding because this girl's parents have died or something. They're not in the picture. And so she needs help. And so it's kind of interesting how it all plays out. There's a lot packed into that 39 minutes, but it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But anyway, if you want to give it a try, 39 minutes is not that long of your life to give it a try. It was interesting. Okay, then let me scroll down through. I think I've already talked about these in another video. I'm just on my Audible wish list. I've got it down to 3 pages now. And most of these Debbie Makeover books, I'm not going to have time to listen to. They're on Scribd. But I'm leaving them on here just in case any of them turn up in Audible Plus. Then I will just, I'll be able to see that. There's 3 books I've left on here in the Hope's Crossing series by Rayanne Thane. And I have started book number 4, Current Creek Valley. I just barely started it earlier today. And I want to go ahead and listen to books 4, 5, and 6. Book 7 is on Hoopla on audio, so I don't have to listen to that. But I would like to go ahead and get to these. I'm going to have to do it at super fast speed. Same thing with Orchard Valley Weddings. I definitely want to get to at least the first 2. There's 3 books in this Orchard Valley Weddings bind up. And I definitely want to get to at least 2 of those for the Mandy-a-thon because the edition that I own has apples on the front, and that's one of the prompts. Okay, so then I'm going to be putting these Lori Copeland, Virginia Smith books into my Audible library as soon as I tell you about some of the books that I'm going to be removing. So I just finished the Amish of Apple Grove, book 1. I had to read that in print, and so now here's book 2, Plain and Simple Heart. And book 3, Cowboy at Heart. And then I also have this, I found this 2-book series called Seattle Brides. The first one is A Bride for Noah. I don't own that in print, but I do own Rainy Day Dreams in print. I have that on my bookshelf. And then there's 3 other kind of short books. Well, there's about 4 that I am not going to make a priority. They're by Teresa Ives Lilly. I have been listening to a lot of her books, and I've enjoyed them for the most part, but I want to be sure I get to some of these other longer books. So if I get the highest priority books done and I still have any time left, I can always come back to these, and I'll leave them on my wish list. And if any of them show up in Audible Plus, then that'll be great. I did listen to this one, though. This one was really cute. Enchanted Encounters, Get Your Kiss on Route 66. This was cute, but it also had a very serious tone as well. It was a little more evangelical than some of Teresa Ive Lilly's books, but I really liked it, and I liked the lessons learned. It was about basically, not to mince words, a spoiled rich girl who is on her way to some kind of event to meet the son of this rich family in the hopes of catching his eye. And something stops her along the way, some kind of car trouble. So she kind of gets sidetracked in this little town, and she learns a few lessons along the way. And I really, really liked it. If you have time at all to squeeze this one in, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes at regular speed, especially if you like Christian books. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Some people might consider this one preachy, but I think the lessons learned here were important, and it was a really fun twist. So anyway, that one was very enjoyable. I wouldn't even mind having a print copy of it to read again one of these days. I might see if I can get it on my Kindle or something, because I wouldn't mind reading that one again. Okay, then let me go back to the wish list and go to page 3. I may have already removed some of the ones that I finished off of here, and I may have to go to my Audible library to show you those, but let me see what's on page 3. My computer is so slow. The one that you also see there, Gambled Away, it's 5 hours long, and it's the longest one by Teresa Ive Lilly on here, which is why I've kind of avoided it. But I don't know. It's one of those situations where if I can get to it, I will. Okay, so Cup and Cake, Harbor in Maine, is a duplicate to Love Found at Harbor in Maine, but I went ahead and listened to it anyway. I pulled it up just to see if it was a duplicate, and it was. But when I listened to it under the other title, I think it was one of those I listened to like around midnight, and I kind of slept through part of it, and I just went ahead and listened to it again. It wasn't long. I sped it up, and I enjoyed it much more the second time because I was awake. So it was very good, and I have listened to the sequel to that. There's a third and fourth book in the series. The third one is not on Audible Escape, and the fourth one is not even on Audible, but I went ahead and put the third one in my wish list so that if it turns up on Audible Plus or something, I will just remember that I haven't listened to it. I have not listened to this one, Can't Help Falling in Love, Love Me Tender, Beauty and the Beast. I'm sorry about my dog barking in the background. I did listen to Harvey House Bride, Harvey House Girls Book 1. I don't think any more of this series is on Audible Escape, but I should check right now and just see. Actually, it's not showing up as a series, but I don't know if if she's ever written any more or not. This was very old-fashioned. It was about these girls who work at this railroad. It's like a chain of restaurants that cater to the railroad, and they're expected to uphold, very high standards. And if you work at the Harvey House, then you have to be very well behaved and, be very good and respectable and all of that. And so it just kind of, I thought it was very sweet, and it was very good. I don't really know any more to tell you other than that. And my dog is not going to stop barking until I let him in, but I'm not going to let him in. All right, I already talked about Courting Kate because I have a physical copy of that. If you have time to listen to one more book, I'm just curious. I would love to chat about this with someone else because this was, it was very interesting. And nothing else there. Oh, yes. One more on Audible Escape. I did listen to this one. This was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect. I've never heard of Kit Morgan, and I've never read anything by her. And it's called His Prairie Princess. It's a little gritty, but still very clean. But it's, this girl is abducted, and so the hero, has to save her. And so it there's some action for sure. I did realize that there are some more in this series, and they are on Audible Escape. You know, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to listen to any more of them, but they're there, and I'm glad to know about them. I did really enjoy this one. It was 3.5 hours, and it was narrated by Michael Rahal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't remember hearing him pronounce his name when I was listening to the book. Anyway, it's by Kit Morgan, and I liked it. I thought it was very good. Okay, so now let me go to my Audible library, and let me show you what's on there. So now I can remove Harvey House Girls, and I can remove Enchanted Encounters. I can remove His Prairie Princess. I can remove Cup and Cake. I can remove Courting Kate. And that leaves me Currant Creek Valley, Willow Leaf Lane, Christmas in Slovic Canyon, and the Orchard Valley Weddings. Oh, and also Amish Hape. I can remove that. So what I'm going to put on there now, I'll go back to my wish list and put the Lori Copeland, Virginia Smith books on here, because I for sure want to get the Apple Grove series done. That was just so good. I really thoroughly enjoyed the first book. Don't know why it's not on Audible Escape, but it wasn't, and I enjoyed reading it in print. So I am looking forward to getting to this. So A Plain and Simple Heart is book 2, and A Cowboy at Heart is book 3. There may be more in the series, but I think those are the only 2 on Audible Escape. Let me see. Here's book 3. And I may as well go ahead and put these Seattle Brides books on here too. They have put several Lori Copeland books on Hoopla on audio, but so far these have not shown up. That one. Lori Copeland is an author that I want to add to my author binge project for next year. I'm going to pick several authors that I own a lot of books by and just do some binging on some authors that I really want to get more read by. Okay, before I get off of here, I'm going to just look at the Amish of Apple Grove and just see if there's any others on here. Book 1, book 2, book 3. Oh, there is a book 4 called A Home in the West, but it is not on Audible. So if I can find that one at my library or wherever, I will go and get that. Okay, so that's all that I'm going to show you here. I am going to go back to my books. That's just everything else I have on my Audible library. All right, let me close this out here and decide what I'm going to do next. Okay, it's still Wednesday afternoon. I decided I'm going to tell you about one more book that I just finished, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this particular video, because most of the books that I have left that I'm sure I'm going to get to are a little bit longer. I've already told you what I'm planning to read or what I'm planning to listen to, so I may as well just go ahead and wrap this up here. Now, the book I want to tell you about is the audiobook that I've been listening to in my car. It is not on Audible Escape, but its sequel is, and that was why I initially wanted to listen to this, because I thought I would go ahead and listen to book 2 on Audible Escape. However, they're both on Hoopla now. But anyway, the book that I just listened to in my car on CD from the library is Under a Maui Moon by Robin Jones Gunn. This was a very good story. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. It was very slow paced and the ending was very predictable, but still overall I thought it was very good. It does tackle some issues. It's a husband and wife romance. Their marriage is on the rocks, and then she loses her job, and just everything's coming to a head all at once, and someone gives her the gift of staying in their cabin in Maui while they're not using it. And so she just goes just to get away. And, her husband's at a conference and things aren't going that well for them anyway. So she just goes for a time of relaxation, reflection, just to kind of figure out where to go from here. And I thought it was very good. So the next book is called Canary Island Song. I probably won't listen to this until early November or whenever, because it's on Hoopla. There is a third book, and I'm not sure if it's on Hoopla or not. I don't think it is, but it could be. I don't know. So anyway, Robin Jones Gunn is an author that I've been very interested in reading more by ever since I read the first Haven Makers book. I still got book 2 on my shelf that I have not listened to yet, but or I haven't read yet. She wrote the Christie series, and the Haven Makers is kind of a spin-off series of the Christie series, because Christie is a character in the Haven Makers, but she's not the main character. So anyway, Robin Jones Gunn is an author that I'm very interested in reading more books by. So that's why when I saw Canary Island Song on Audible Escape, I decided to go ahead and pick up Under a Maui Moon, and I'm glad I did. So that is all for this video. I am going to be continuing to read or listen to some Rayanne Thane books in the Hope's Crossing series, as well as some Lori Copeland, Virginia Smith books. Those are the main, and a couple more Debbie Maycomber books. Those are my main focus for the rest of the week. It's Wednesday, October 28th, and so we've got 3 more days of October, and on October 31st, I'm going to be having another mini yard sale, so, who knows how much I'll be able to get done between now and then, but I feel like it's been a very successful time so far, and I have managed to get through a lot of books on Audible Escape that I probably wouldn't have if I had just kept poking along. So anyway, I'm happy about my progress, and I appreciate you guys watching and commenting. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books that I've talked about in this video, or if any of them sound interesting to you, and we'll chat later. So I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.